I win! I win! I win! Well, honestly, all of us win in this specific scenario. So I have to start this video with a confession. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Coke boycott. I thought that the Coke boycott would do absolutely nothing. And I had actually been complaining on Twitter for a while when people were talking about this Coke boycott. I was like, well, Coke still has their diversity program. Literally nothing has changed, even after the whole Be Less White training scandal that, I broke the news on however many weeks ago that was. Coke still had their diversity program and nothing had really changed other than this crazy Be Less White training was taken out of the lineup. And so I was like, okay, well, the training got pulled off of LinkedIn. That we have to consider a victory. But I was feeling very mad on the situation. Everyone was like, no, Carlin, we have to boycott Coke. And I was like, fine, boycott Coke. They're not going to do anything, whatever. I had a little bit of a bad attitude. Well, guess what? Coke has now paused their aggressive diversity plan after their chief lawyer resigned. So listen, I don't know if this actually had anything to do with the boycott or anything else. We're going to read this article. We're going to find out. But I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care what happened to make Coke pause their diversity program. All that I care about is that the diversity program is paused. Let's read this article from the New York Post. Woke Coke has gone flat. Coca-Cola has paused its controversial diversity plan that included penalties on outside law firms if they failed to meet racial diversity quotas after intense backlash. The pause comes after the orchestrator of the plan, Coke's former general counsel Bradley Gayton, abruptly resigned last month after less than a year on the job as criticisms of the quotas mounted. Some questioned whether Gayton's policies violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which says employers can't treat people differently based on race. Scott, a spokesperson for Coke, says Gayton's replacement, Monica Howard Douglas, is now reviewing the plan. When there is a leadership change, it takes time for the new leaders to review the current status of the team, organization, and initiatives, and blah, 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 whatever PR statement. In January, Gayton made headlines when he unveiled his plans to penalize outside law firms that failed to meet new diversity quotas by slashing their fees or cutting ties with them altogether. Under the plan, any law firm seeking to do business with the company was required to commit that at least 30% of billed time would be from diverse attorneys, and at least half of that time would be from Black attorneys. The hard truth is that our profession is not treating the issue of diversity and inclusion as a business imperative. So what better to do than to force businesses to run based on the way you tell them to run without any regard for who they might have on staff if those staff are competent. It's only about their skin color. That apparently is the only thing that we care about anymore. But Gayton's sudden resignation last month has thrown the plan into doubt, with outsiders criticizing the plan and urging Coca-Cola to walk it back. Legal Defense Foundation Project on Fair Representation published an open letter to Coca-Cola last week, warning that Coke's outside counsel racial quota requirements are unlawful. In a meeting with Coke's global legal team, Douglas, the company's new general counsel, said that Coca-Cola was taking a pause for now, but would likely salvage some parts of the diversity plan. Listen, I don't know. We obviously don't know what parts of the diversity plan they're planning on salvaging at this point, but I do want to take this opportunity to say that not everything in every diversity plan is necessarily evil, right? I am only focused on critical race theory when it comes to diversity plans. I think if it has critical race theory in it, it is fundamentally bad. It is fundamentally toxic. Even if it doesn't start out that way, if it's just like critical race theory light, it will eventually grow that way. So it doesn't really matter. But listen, there are an awful lot of diversity programs out there. There are an awful lot of diversity plans that don't have the harmful aspects of it that critical race theory does. Are they effective? There's no evidence to say that they are, to be quite frank. But you know what? They a lot of the times they really aren't going to do the harm that people think they're going to do. It's just going to be like a training that people have to go and suffer through, and they have to put on their happy face and nod and smile and do all the things. But it's really not intrinsically bad. If it doesn't have critical race theory in it, I have much less of a problem with it. Companies should be able to do what they want to do. He signed a new contract to serve as consultant to Coca-Cola CEO, blah, 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 whatever. This is hardly Coke's first stab at being woke. In February, employees were urged to be less white as part of the company's alleged diversity training. The Confronting Racism course in question was offered by LinkedIn Education and allegedly utilized by the soft drink titan. Okay, we'll go with allegedly for now. It's not as though I heard from like several dozen of their staff members that they were required to do this training, but sure. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white, reads one of the slides, allegedly sent from an internal whistleblower and posted to Twitter by YouTube commentator me. Allegedly. How I allegedly got the freaking slides. Oh my god. Another slide suggests try to be less white with tips including be less oppressive, listen, believe, and break with white solidarity. The tweet that shared the images of the course went viral. Yes, it did. 27 million views later. More recently, Republicans lawmakers have criticized Coke for embracing Democratic Party positions. The Atlanta-based outfit made headlines in April for denouncing a Georgia state law that critics said blocked black people from voting, which of course is nonsense. GOP lawmakers in turn blasted the company. Okay. So Coke is relenting. Now, does it have to do with the boycott? I don't know, but they've absolutely lost a metric ton of business, whether it's from the Be Less White training or whether it's from them coming out opposing the Georgia voting law. Who's really to say what it is? But certainly Coke has developed a little reputation at this point. The memes are flying all over the internet. And apparently their sales are down, so they're taking some moves to walk this stuff back. And frankly, you know what? Listen, I don't care why they did it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care whether it was the Be Less White training. I don't care whether it was the Georgia voting law. I don't care whether it was just this persnickety lawyer that wrote stupid quotas into their diversity plan that are completely unenforceable. I don't care which it is. It could be one, it could be a combination of many, many factors in the situation. What I care about is that they're walking it back. What I care about is that momentum is starting to build on our side. We have states left and right that are banning critical race theory. We got Idaho. I almost always say Iowa because there is actually a bill in Iowa. It hasn't passed yet. But Idaho, we got Oklahoma. Texas is working on it. Florida did it by executive order. New Hampshire, we're still working on it. We're still working on my rhino Republican governor, but we do actually feel pretty good about it here. So the momentum is on our side. And you know how we know it's on our side? Is that the woke are starting to talk about this as a free speech issue. That's how we know it's on our side. This happened in New Hampshire. What they started out in New Hampshire, their first argument against the bill was, it's racist. That didn't work because obviously the bill is not racist. Then they said, it's transphobic. And that didn't work either because the bill didn't even mention trans people. So they went through their couple of identitarian arguments and then they said, it violates the First Amendment. And of course it doesn't because the state does not have constitutional protection. The citizens have constitutional protection, but the free speech argument, you have to watch for when this comes up in conversations because the minute that they start going after the free speech argument is the minute that you know that they are losing. That is the important bit in all of this, is that the momentum is on our side, but we have to keep pushing. We have to keep standing up to the companies that are doing this. We have to keep exposing this nonsense because this only happens when there is public pressure and when there are consequences to continuing to do this stuff in their organization. And we got one. We got one. So let's take a moment to celebrate that nice, glorious little win. And we'll keep an eye on them too, because obviously Coke's probably going to backtrack at some point. We'll keep an eye on what part of their diversity program is going to be salvaged. I do still have many of my whistleblowers inside of Coke. Some of them quit. But you know, we do still have that. So we're keeping an eye on you, Coke. I haven't forgotten yet just because I moved on to other things. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications, giving it a thumbs up, doing all the things you do on YouTube or wherever you might be watching it. That's all I have for right now. I'll see you soon.